Most entrepreneurs are preparing for 2026 all wrong. I mean, they're stockpiling AI tools, they're chasing the latest platform, and don't even get me started about the worries about the algorithm. But they're missing out on fundamental shifts that are actually going to separate the businesses that last from the ones that barely survive. I'm Kenya, CEO and founder of Social Roots Co., which is a creative marketing agency. And for the past several years, I've had the pleasure of working with 6- and 7-figure entrepreneurs, organizations, and nonprofits who really want to make an impact while also making an amazing income. I've helped them transform their messaging, their positioning, and their marketing to finally match the caliber of the work that they do. And here's what I do know. The ones who understand how to move with the cheese, especially when it comes to a new year, which means new marketing trends, new everything, are the ones that will make it really far. By the end of this episode, you'll know exactly which shifts to leverage in your business in 2026 and which outdated strategies to please let go of. Most business podcasts serve up the same surface level advice dressed up in new packaging. Another framework, another 3-step system, another guru promising you the secret. But you don't need more information. You need clarity. I'm Kenya Adams, brand whisperer, and your host for the Roots to Riches podcast. Every week, we're talking about positioning, strategy, and the decisions that separate good businesses from great ones. Plus, we're chatting with the entrepreneurs who are actually doing the work and not just teaching it. If that's what you're here for, turn up the volume and let's dive in. This is episode 1, which is super exciting. I've been thinking about this podcast for a while, brainstorming ideas around it. And I said, you know what? I'm ripping the Band-Aid off in 2026 because the people need what Roots to Riches have to offer. I really want to take some time to share some core shifts that I believe are going to happen in 2026 that everybody needs to think about or come to terms with very soon. These shifts are based on research that I've done, based on me and my expertise and the way that everything kind of moved in 2025 to lead to this moment. And of course, I just had to share them with you. So let's go ahead and dive in. I'm not one for fluff or all of the extra talking. I'm just gonna get straight down to business. Y'all ready? Okay, so trend 1. AI-free content. And I need you to hear me out because we're in this AI world right now where it's pretty much running everything. I mean, they have people who are creating branding photos using AI. You have videos, people creating video content using AI. It has become freaking insane. But I truly believe that one of the greatest shifts that are going to happen in 2026, AI-free content is going to thrive. The reality is that people nowadays are craving authenticity. And that word, I'm not referring to just a be yourself, post the things that are true to you. I mean, people are craving real content from real people. And so I think this is going to be a huge shift in 2026 in comparison to 2025 when everybody was learning ChatGPT, everybody was learning AI. If you didn't learn AI, you felt behind. But in 2026, I think people are going to get so much value out of consuming content that came from that person's brain. So whether that's a blog that they actually wrote, heck, even a book that they actually wrote, or creating content on social media that is actually them versus some type of AI part in it. I personally love AI-free content. And it's so bad to the point where most of the time you can recognize when someone used AI to write something or create something versus when they didn't. So in 2026, I think it's going to be a major shift that we have to watch for and lean into this AI-free era that I know that we need to lean into. Consumers are getting exhausted. I mean, they're scrolling past the perfect, the polished, the obviously templated. Nothing feels personal. Nothing feels personal. And so here's the shift. In 2026, authentic, raw, human-centered content is becoming the good stuff. I'm not saying AI is going to go away completely. It's not. It's only going to get worse and it's only going to get crazier. But the brands that win are going to be the ones who use AI as a tool and not as a crutch. It's the ones who, hey, I might use AI to check my grammar, but this is coming from me and this is what I want to say and not what ChatGPT told me that I should say. I hope that makes sense. So think about it like this. AI can help you outline your thoughts, It can help you edit. It can speed up your processes, but it cannot tell your story. It cannot capture your voice. It cannot understand your quirks and the interesting, unique things about you. It can't think the way that you think about the problems that you're facing. And that is what people are craving right now. They want to know that there's a real human on the other side of that social media post, on the other side of that video, on the other side of that blog, wherever it is. I had a client recently who came to me because their engagement was tanking. I mean, they were posting consistently. Their graphics looked kind of good, but straight crickets. Like no one was resonating. And when I really looked at it, I realized that they had outsourced everything to somebody who was using ChatGPT to write everything, every single caption, every single post, come up with the same ideas, all of that stuff. Technically, from somebody who doesn't understand the way that the world is going, especially in the marketing and branding space, they would say that they are creating perfect content. But perfect content could still have zero connection. So we stripped it all back and we started having them record voice notes about what they were actually thinking, like the things that are in your brain, the things that AI cannot do. We're not at the AI part yet where they could just read your brain and then turn it into something different. So we stripped it all back. We created the messy, the imperfect. And then within 2 weeks, they started getting DMs about their offers. Like their DMs freaking exploded. People were finally commenting on their posts. It wasn't crickets anymore. So let this be a sign going into 2026 that the number one trend that I see going up and up and up is creators and brands and businesses who are producing AI-free content. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go audit your content. Look at like the last 5 to 10 posts, your last few emails, whatever blogs you've put out there, right? Ask yourself, does this actually sound like me? Does it sound human? Does it all sound the same? And would I actually say this out loud to a friend? And if your answer is no, it does not sound like you, and you wouldn't say it to a friend, and everything seems very robotic and templated, then it's time to strip some of that AI off, polish it off, and start fresh, because that's what the people want in 2026. Let's go ahead and move to trend number 2, okay? Trend number 2 is hyper personalized storytelling. Okay, listen, we get a lot of hype around storytelling, and if you truly know how to do it when it comes to like your marketing and your branding and all the things, then perfect. But there is a trick to it. Like there is something that you can actually do that moves the needle when it comes to storytelling if you approach it right. I'm not saying just sharing your story with the world is a trend, because that's been a trend for years. When I'm talking about hyper personalized storytelling, I'm not talking about the generic messaging. I'm not saying I help entrepreneurs grow their business. I work with leaders who want to make an impact. These are safe, broad statements that could apply to literally anyone, and it tells the most basic story. I think in 2026, we're going to be moving away from that completely. And here's the problem. When you're speaking to everyone, you're connecting with no one. So your ideal client or customer walks right past you, looks right past your content, scrolls right past you, because nothing you're saying makes them stop and think, wait, why is this person all up in my business? So the shift is this: hyper personalized storytelling, not just knowing your ideal client, but actually speaking to them and then using storytelling, like extreme specific storytelling, in order to bring it home. You want someone to land on your page and say, how the heck did they get in my head? And I know what a lot of people are thinking, and where I think a lot of brands and businesses have kind of played it safe in 2025 is, well, Kenya, won't that push people away? Like if it's so specific to one single person and I'm telling all of these really hyper personalized stories, wouldn't that push away somebody who doesn't completely resonate with that? My answer is yes. And my second answer is that's a good thing. You want people to self-select themselves out. You want to repel the wrong people and attract the exact person that is. And if I'm being honest with you, most of the time, if you post really, really strong content that repels some people, that doesn't mean that even if somebody doesn't fully resonate with it, they're going to run away. Actually, what you find is people value that. They might connect with one thing that you say, and the other one doesn't matter as much because at least they know the value that you're bringing, the expertise that you're bringing, and the way that you are connecting with your people, which is more important than talking to everybody, okay? So here's your homework as far as preparing to make a shift with this specific trend for 2026. Pick one ideal client, not 3. Not 2, but 1, okay? And don't talk about your target market. Pick one specific person. Give them a name if you have to. I know I have some names. One of my clients' name is Jasmine, and she's real cute. Now, write your homepage, your email welcome sequence, your social media posts, whatever, talking directly to that one person. Yes, you'll lose some people. That's good. Because you'll gain the people who actually need what you have and what you do. All right, let's go ahead and dive into trend 3. This is a really, really big one and something that has kind of been on the rise, especially in 2025, that I think is going to continue to grow in 2026, but a little bit more emphasis will be placed on it. Trend 3 is about getting over yourself and getting visible. And I say that with love, but also with honesty. Too many founders and CEOs are hiding behind their company's brand. They're posting from the business account, which is cool, but they're using we when they're solopreneur or they're the only ones that are showing up. They're keeping themselves completely separate from the business. And I was a victim to this for a really long time. I told myself I wanted to build a creative marketing agency. That means that I needed to stand alone on its own, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, but personal brands are starting to become a business asset. It feels vulnerable to put your face out there. It feels risky to tie your personal reputation to your business. But here's the truth. People do not connect with logos. People don't connect with logos. They don't connect with your brand board. They don't connect with your pretty graphics. They connect with people. So the shift that I believe is going to be even stronger in 2026 is that personal brands are becoming legitimate business assets, not just for influencers or coaches or anybody who's not afraid to post their face, but for everyone. Every brand. Think about all of the big businesses that are kind of online right now. The ones who have really, really good engagement, they're starting to put their employees or their team or their founder at the forefront of these large organizations when it comes to their online content. And people are connecting with it more. It makes it human. And we love that. Frankly, I love that. And honestly, it doesn't even have to be you. Your employees can become brand ambassador. Your story, the reason that you created this actually becomes part of your business's story. People connect with that and you're more likely to scale and grow a little bit faster than if you act as this entity that has its own brain and there isn't a specific person behind it. Honestly, what most people do is they use their personal brain as a business asset to grow it to a certain point, and then they separate it, and then they have their employees as the face of it. Think about that, doing it that way versus just saying, hey, I'm going to keep these completely separate from the jump, especially if you're trying to build an online presence for your business. So something that I want you to think about with this specific shift is what unique perspective do you bring that only you can share? And maybe it's your background, your experience, a mistake you've made, like something rough that you went through, a contrarian belief that you believe, whatever that is, that's your differentiator. And in 2026, hiding that is leaving money on the table. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm getting all the money off the table. Okay, trend 4 of one of the things that I think are going to shift upward and have more focus in 2026 might actually challenge you the most because it goes against everything you've been told about business growth. For years, the advice was diversify your offerings, serve more people, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Cast a wide net. The list goes on and on and on. Be everything to everyone is ultimately the main business advice that so many people have said over the years. And it worked. It actually worked until it didn't. Because now the market is so saturated that generalists get lost in the noise. Nobody's looking for a marketing agency or a business consultant. They're looking for the person who solves their very specific problem better than anyone else. The shift is toward micro expertise, deep, narrow specialization that makes you the obvious choice for a specific transformation. This isn't just niching down your industry. I'm not saying, well, go focus on serving nonprofits. I'm saying get so specific on the micro expertise that you offer so that when somebody searches up the exact problem they're having, you're the only one that comes up for it. And here's what's wild. When you niche down, you actually don't get less business, you get more and more qualified, ideal candidates for your company. You become the expert and not just another option. I'm going to use my business as an example for this because this is so personal and it's a major shift that I had to do towards the end of 2025. And I'm taking it into 2026 because I think this is going to be huge. But when I first started Social Roots, I was doing everything. I was doing like graphic design and website design and email marketing and content coaching and content days and video editing and podcast management, and y'all, the list goes on. Like there's so many things that I was doing in my company. It was ridiculous. And I was busy. Like I really was busy. Probably too busy. I was operating in burnout half the time, if I'm being honest, but I was exhausted and I was underpriced. And I was working with clients who didn't really value what I did because they saw me as the person who makes everything look pretty. But I made a huge shift towards the end of 2025, and I decided that I was going to niche down to messaging and positioning, specifically for impact-driven organizations and entrepreneurs. So everything changed. My prices went up. My close rate went up. The quality of clients went up because I wasn't competing with every other designer, every other marketing agency, every other marketer out there. I was competing with the handful of people who do what I do. And yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I lost some opportunities. People who wanted just the logo design, but they didn't care about the strategy behind it, or somebody who just wanted a flyer design, but there wasn't anything that connected it to their brand. There was no real game plan for how this was gonna move the needle in their business in order to create more impact. But I gained really good clients. I mean, the best type of clients who really understood that the thing that they were missing is connecting the dots between how they want to show up and the way that they actually are. And that changed everything for me, everything. So here's a challenge for you when it comes to this specific trend for 2026. What's your micro expertise? It doesn't mean that you can't do any of those other things. It just means that you're getting really specific on what you can do so that you can create the most amazing transformation for this small group of people that you serve, ultimately allowing you to charge more because you are one of the very few who are specialized in that thing, and then ultimately having you bring in the type of person that you actually want to work with. So what's the one thing that you could own so completely that you become the obvious choice? Not, I help people with marketing. I help coach entrepreneurs. More like, I help SaaS founders at 1 million APR craft messaging that converts enterprise buyers. Right? Get specific, get narrow, get known for one single thing. Okay, so for the last trend that I want to share that I think is going to be on the up and up in 2026, and this one's important because I'm seeing it play out in real time. For a while, there was this trend where brands would slap a social mission on their business like it was a marketing tactic. We donate 1% of proceeds, or we plant a tree for every purchase, which is great. Don't get me wrong. But when it's just a line on your website and it's not woven into who you really are and how you actually operate and how you show up, people can tell. And honestly, we're over it. I say we because I'm included in that. I'm over it. Purpose as a marketing tactic just doesn't work anymore. Consumers, especially the younger generations, can smell performative actions from a mile away. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a little obvious now, point. Like, you never talk about anything the way that you guys show up, but then you have this line on your website that says that there's some social or purpose-driven mission behind it. The shift that I think is going to be huge in 2026 is that purpose and profit are going to actually be integrated. And it's not going to be surface level at all. And people are going to start look for brands and businesses that are bold about the things that they believe in and the things that they support. And if you're quiet, that could also be a bad thing too. And what I mean by this is that your values actually control the way you operate. It controls who you work with, how you price your services, what you say no to. It controls how you treat your team. Like, people are wanting to see what you truly believe in and what matters the most to you come through in all of these other ways. They have to go hand in hand. And here's the thing. I've seen some people say that, well, purpose over profit. I'm not saying that at all. Make your money. By all means, you can only do so much in the world if you're broke. That's just the reality of the situation. But honestly, the most sustainable businesses are doing both, and there's a balance to them. They're profitable because they're purpose-driven, not in spite of it. And I hope this is making sense to you guys. I just sit here and I think about the clients I've worked with who have built their entire business model around impact and purpose. I mean, one client I knew was running a consulting firm, completely shifted to only serving nonprofits who specifically supported women and children. And they turned down high-paying clients in order to do that because nonprofits are limited on money, whatever. Their business boomed because those specific types of nonprofits were only looking for her specific type of service. And so she ended up serving some of the most major nonprofits in her city and beyond, which is amazing. Or I think about my own business, like something that's important to me is my relationship with God. So how am I integrating God into all of the aspects? You know, I joined a Christian peer advisory group where I can sit there and we do devotions together every month and we pray and we talk about business together all in one space. That is me bringing God in there. I can pray over the things. I can ask God, am I supposed to serve these clients? Like, there are certain things that you're supposed to do if they are your values that help integrate both of them in, and it makes you feel more confident in the mission that you're building. It also makes your employees feel more confident in the mission that they're supporting, and everything just kind of goes together. And I love that so much. So my question for you for this last trend is, what's the deeper why behind your business that actually drives your decisions? Not the pretty mission statement. Do not comment on my post or on this podcast with your mission statement. I want to hear deeper, like deeper. What is the thing that is connecting all of the dots in your business? I don't want to hear anything from your about page, the real thing, the thing that would make you say no to money if it violated it. In 2026, businesses with clear values and the spine to stand by them, those are the ones that are going to build loyal communities and not just a basic customer list. Okay, so that was a lot, guys, and I thank you for hanging in there with me. I'm really excited for 2026. I think it's going to be amazing, but I think when we're out here building these brands and these businesses, we have to move with the cheese, and that means that as things shift, as people value different things, as the world changes and the things that are important to us change, we must move with that and adjust accordingly when it comes to building our business. We covered 5 major shifts. AI-free content becoming premium, using AI as a tool and not as a replacement of your voice. We talked about hyper-personalized storytelling. So stop speaking to everyone and start speaking to one person. We talked about personal brands becoming business assets and how to show up and not just have your logo speak for itself. We talk about the rise of micro expertise, like owning one thing and becoming the one person that can deliver that transformation. And we talked about purpose and profit actually coming together as the perfect business model. And here's what I want you to understand. These aren't 5 separate trends that you need to chase. They all are connected. They're all pointing to the same thing: sustainability, growth, being specific. So the businesses that are really going to thrive in 2026 aren't the ones with the biggest budgets or the most followers or out here just posting the best videos on social media. They're the ones who know who they are. They are speaking specifically to one person, and they are creating the most amazing transformation for that one person. Those are the ones that are going to change the game this year. Thank you so much for tuning in. Next week, we are diving into something personal. I'm sharing the business advice that I wish I'd ignored and the one thing I should have done way sooner. It's a story of how saying yes to everyone almost destroyed my business and what had to change. And then in episode 3, we're diving into a client case study, the message shift that filled her calendar in 7 days and helped her hit her entire year's revenue goal in just 6 months. You're going to want to take notes on that one. If you found value in this episode, do me a favor, hit subscribe so you can stay with the gang and so you don't miss the next one. And honestly, I'd love to know which of these 5 trends hit you the hardest. Like, which one left you thinking, okay, how am I going to make the most out of this year and create the most impact in my business and for my growth? And then which one are you going to tackle first when we're thinking about all of the things that we could be doing this year? You can find me on Instagram and LinkedIn at Social Roots Co. Or you can send me a message and let me know what resonated. All right, that's it for today. I'm Kenya, and this is Roots to Riches. Until next time.